Hello and welcome to episode 16 of the NJ Multi-Species Podcast. I am Joe Santiago, and as always, my partner, Chris Perreira, is here.
I'm
We
here.
have a lot right to get into. I don't even have time to talk to him, so I'm going to ignore he's even on the show.
All right.
We got 3 members of Round Valley Trout Association coming on tonight. President Mike Connery, legendary angler of the reservoir, Ron DeGraff, and 2022 Person of the Year, Matt Yanetta. I don't know how I got that right again. It's like the 5th time I got it all right.
I'm
amazed.
I'm personally amazed.
Firstly, rumors. Now, like we said, we're not rumor spreaders, but there's truth to every rumor. I heard a strange rumor about the possibility of a water level drop at Merrill Creek. Chris, did you hear anything about that?
I mean, I heard from the same source as you did, but also that it was 100% an unconfirmed rumor. I mean, I will say, even if it's done the way it's supposed to be done, it shouldn't be that big of a deal if it does happen. I've seen the water level over, the last decade. I think I've seen the water level come down a little bit, maybe over the last 15 years. I think once or twice I've seen it come down a little bit and then it comes back up, but they use it for what it's meant to be used for. If they do it properly, it's fine. It's not like it's it's not like it's a devastating thing that's going to happen if it does.
All right. Well, the reason for tonight's rushed episode, like I said, we have the 3 members of RVTA coming in, so they're probably going to be on for a while. We're not going to do fishing reports or skillful angler updates or any of that tonight. We're going to go right into them. I just want to real quick reiterate before we go into them, the Eddie Mackin trip giveaway is still running. It's a free charter for 3 people for 4 hours on Lake Apacon with Eddie Mackin. All you have to do is click subscribe and write a comment. People are already writing just comments like, hi, they're in. That's all it takes to enter. And then you go to Mackin's Rippin' Lips Fishing Trips on Facebook, hit like, you're in. Now, Chris, this still has, it goes till July 7th, so there's still like another 9 days.
Yeah, we're going, well, not till when this airs. When this airs, you're going to have till next Thursday. You're gonna have
another week for me to spin the wheel. It's just a raffle. Now, we're adding a bonus to it to sweeten the pot. If you get a friend to subscribe to our YouTube channel, you get a bonus entry, plus that friend gets in. So if you get a friend to subscribe and like Eddie Mackin's Facebook page, send me a PM that was your friend that subscribed, and you get 2 spots on the wheel, and that person also gets 1. So the more friends you flood into this, the better shot you have at winning.
Plus it's for 3 people, so if your friend wins, they're probably going to bring you unless they actually hate you.
It's a $350 trip. It's a pretty expensive trip with one of the best fishermen on Lake Apacon, and you basically have to click one button and write 1 word. So it's not hard to do. Get on that immediately, because I'm just going to spin a wheel and someone's going to win.
Right, and just make sure that if you get someone else to subscribe and comment, that you let us know so that we could keep track of it. Just send us a message or tag us or something. And then there's also, I added to Facebook, another way that you could get a bonus entry is by sharing that episode with Eddie Mackin. You share that YouTube episode, that podcast episode, and you tag us when you share it. I'll get the notification on that, and I'll give you a bonus entry for that as well.
Yeah, and you could also, if your friend subscribes and leaves a comment on the YouTube, you could comment right under their comment and say, this is my friend. And then I'll know that it's your friend, and we'll give you your bonus. But moving on, we're going to bring the RVTA guys in and get right into that.
Let's do it.
Okay, so finally, long in the making, we have our members of the RVTA here. Maybe 10 episodes ago or so, when we first started this podcast, there was a big to do on Facebook about some people attacking the club. So this club responded to us by coming on the podcast, basically. So tonight we have Round Valley Trout Association president Mike Connery, who's been fishing the reservoir since he was 16 years old. He's now the new president. We have legendary Round Valley angler Ronnie DeGraff, who is the guy I constantly talk about, that when you look at his photo album, you think he's on the Great Lakes, but he's on Round Valley. And lastly, we have Matt Yanetta, who's fished for over 30 years on the reservoir and is the 2022 Fisher Person of the Year. Guys, welcome to the podcast.
What's going on, guys?
Hey, guys, how are you?
It is a pleasure to have you here.
Did Joe get all that information correct?
Pretty good. Yep. Pretty close. Yeah, pretty good.
That's a first. Okay.
That was hard. All right, so we have a lot to talk about in not that long of a time.
Hey,
so I'm going to take you guys right back to the beginning. 1977, the first lake trout goes into Round Valley Reservoir. Does it ruin the trout fishery that we see today?
Who wants to take that one?
That's all you.
It's all me, I guess.
Okay.
It depends who you talk to. I personally believe it did not ruin the fishery. Some guys say it did. That was totally on the state, working with in conjunction with the biologists, and it was a success story. They naturally reproduce in there. They've created a lot of angler hours of fishing, and it's been a success story for the state of New Jersey. So. But,
I mean, my personal opinion on it, and I love lake trout. I used to fish Round Valley a lot more. I fish Merrill Creek a lot nowadays, but I think the state probably did overstock it with lake trout before they realized that they were naturally reproducing so successfully. But I'm with you. I mean, I think it's awesome that we have two nice lake trout fisheries right here in New Jersey.
Sure.
It's good too. You can fish for, the rainbows and brown up higher than the lake trout down below. Two different types of fish.
Sure, and it's two totally different tactics you could use to target either one.
Yep.
But and I don't really buy into the whole. I know I've heard guys say that the lake trout decimated the herring population. I mean, I think that's pretty far-fetched. What do you guys think?
It is far-fetched. The main thing we've found out from biologists and stuff, and the other guys in the club for all the years of fishing there, the lake went sterile. There was no new water being pumped in, and once the plankton and stuff there disappears, as long the herring disappeared too, and along behind that was the browns. They're meat eaters. And once the herring disappears, all our big browns were gone. They just died off. So.
And now basically the only main bait supply going into that lake's coming from you guys, correct?
That is correct.
Now, it does. So I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe that the club has tried to get a herring population stocked back in there, but it won't take because of what you said about the plankton and the sterilization of the lake and all that. That's accurate?
Yes.
Yeah.
If we do pump water, once the reservoir is filled back up, might be an idea down the road to look into it. Maybe get some herring in there, try it again. There's gonna be a lot of growth around the edges. We got some shiners in there growing now. You can see them along the shorelines, so that's working.
So the shiner's doing pretty good in there.
Yeah.
And we stock anywhere from 350,000 to 650,000 golden shiners a year. That's all paid for by donations. So it's very important. Because right now, basically, we're just feeding fish is what we're doing with those amount of shiners we're putting in there. We're really not establishing a breeding population of shiners in there as of right now. So.
Do you use the membership dues at all towards that, or is it just straight donations that people have to give?
Mostly it's donations. We have a separate donation form for that, Chris.
Okay.
And yeah, and it's been pretty successful so far. Yeah. Been very good.
What does it cost to become a member? What does it cost to join?
Membership is $25 for a single membership. Or you can do a $30 membership, which is a family membership, which covers, say, like Joe, you, your wife, and your kids. As long as they still reside at home, you can still get the family membership like that.
So it's the whole household, whoever's still living at home. It doesn't
Correct.
matter if the kid's 21, if he's living at home, it's still in.
That is correct. Yep.
That's pretty cool. And while we're on this, I just wanted to just real quick. So I used to be Round Valley Trout Association member years ago when I fished the reservoir a lot more with my buddy Artie, who passed away a couple of Novembers back. And I just hadn't renewed my membership for it. I just wasn't fishing there. And, I just didn't go through the trouble of coming down and signing up, doing the paper at the bait shop or wherever. I think Sporting Life has applications or whatever. I just didn't do it. And I started coming there. I came to realize I'm probably representing a pretty big chunk of anglers around New Jersey that are just too lazy to do the whole paperwork thing. And so now I got the podcast. So I figured, you know what? I went on your website actually when we were just setting up the podcast, and I went right on there and I just did it. Took 5 minutes maybe. You just click on the thing and went on the website. I signed up as a member 2 minutes ago while you guys were talking.
Right. Is that simple?
Is that simple? And I just
So
want to make an example.
will you admit trolling is better than jigging?
We're on Round Valley?
In general.
In general, no, I'll never say that. On Round Valley, I'll give you that. It does seem that trolling is definitely superior on Round Valley. And I think we'll touch in Matt, I think you're gonna talk a little bit about trolling tactics and stuff a little bit later.
Yeah, no problem.
Cool.
Now let me ask you guys this, because looking at the three of you is Ronnie DeGraff, you're intimidating as shit. You're like the Marshawn. You're like the Marshawn Lynch of fish. You just sit in the corner, catch huge fish, and don't talk to anyone. Yanetta, I've seen your tackle box. I'm embarrassed to show up to a tournament since I've seen your tackle box. And Mike has Team Livewire. He's got his own hoodies and shit. So, I mean, these guys are the real deal. If you're a new, somewhat novice fisherman that wants to join this club, is it okay? I mean, should they be intimidated?
Not at all. Not at all. That's how we all started. This is where we learned from.
Yep.
And I started, I didn't really have 2 downriggers on the boat, didn't know how to use them. Went out a couple times, got tangled, snagged the bottom, whatever. Started going to the club meetings, started talking to the guys, figuring out, what to use, tactics, how to fish for these trout, where they were, and before you know it, I started catching fish,
Oh, yeah, you sure did.
Yeah.
He's a fast learner.
But the world of knowledge that you can get from an old timer that's been fishing it for 20, 30 years will save you so much time in the long run. You'll gain in 15 minutes, 20 years of experience on the lake. You got talking to some of these guys.
You got some balls. You just called the guy right next to you an old timer, right next to you.
Definitely.
All right.
Don't the grace fool you, Chris. I see you got some too.
Mine's coming in right here. I got
Mike,
a nice patch.
I know that you are very proactive on bringing the club up to date with the current times. What is the possibility of the meeting going virtual? Now, Scott Tarnowski said I'm disgraceful for even asking for this, but what is the possibility of the meeting going virtual?
It is a possibility. Everything's a possibility. But here's our way of thinking about that. We want guys to come out. We want guys to interact. We do workshops at our meetings for 15, 20 minutes, sometimes a half an hour. We'll do stuff on lead core setups. We'll do like Randy Perreira, our past president. He just did a workshop on wire line fishing with Dodgers for lake trout, and his son had just won the tournament doing the same techniques, and to get that hands-on, you can ask the questions right there. You can actually physically see the equipment, and you interact with the rest of the crowd during those Q&A sessions. And then you get after the meetings, everybody mingles, we talk, we ask about different techniques and stuff, and it's good. It's a night out for everybody. Since COVID's happened, a lot of guys were stuck in their houses and stuff, and this is an avenue to guys to get back out and have some normalcy, if you want to call it that, and talk fishing.
So basically, in a nutshell, he just agreed with Tarnowski and said it's a possibility, but I'm a lazy piece of shit.
Well, I mean, he's not wrong. You are a piece of shit, but I got to agree with him that, you're going to get more out of going and being there in person. There's no question about that.
I agree.
But, you got someone who kind of wants to be a part of the club that maybe lives an hour and a half away. Maybe they can't make it. It wouldn't be a bad idea, which, obviously you guys are not. You are open to it, which is great. The fact that you're open to anything really says everything that needs to be said. You're going to do what needs to be done to keep this club, above water and thriving. And there's not really much else you can do other than keep an open mind and just be willing to do whatever needs to be done.
But I find personally the coolest thing about this club currently, you guys have your, 6 yearly tournaments, but now you're having these offshoot tournaments that are even including other lakes. And that's really awesome. And it includes other new species. You guys are running probably one of the biggest tournaments the state's ever seen coming up.
That is coming up.
Yep.
It's July, I don't know if you want to go right into it, but it's July 21st to the 23rd. It's called the Grand Slam. So we're going to have 5 different categories: lake trout, rainbow trout, brown trout, smallmouth and largemouth is one category, and then the hybrid striped bass is another category. So you got 5 different species, or 6 really, that you can fish for. 5 different categories.
And that's the top 3 of each one?
Top 3 of each category will prize out or place and get prize money. And then there's raffles. There's over 40, 50 raffles to be won. It should be a good weekend.
All right. Well, in 2 weeks, Mikey K is coming on here to go over the real specific rules of that.
Yep.
But is this something that you guys are going to continuously pursue now, where you're going to do these kind of offshoot tournaments?
Definitely, we're going to try and keep pumping them out, keep something fresh. We did the one over in February over the winter, which was a real good turnout especially for the winter. And we're just going to keep coming out with more and more. It seems like people enjoy them.
Yeah.
So you've got 5 different species, 15 total slots where you can win money, and you're fishing 2 lakes. You said Round Valley Reservoir and Spruce Run Reservoir, right?
So, correct, and the swimming side of Round Valley too.
Right.
Okay. But so all three lakes and top 3 in each category.
No, it's an awesome idea. Me and Joe are gonna do it, and we talked to Mikey and some other people, I think, and we really wanted to be part. We wanted to sponsor it too, but we don't have anything really to give other than we're just gonna help you guys promote the hell out of it. That's
great.
That's all we need to do at this point, and we hope it helps, because this is a really cool contest, and I hope people come out and check it out.
And if anyone has new ideas, send them to me, email me, because we'll keep it going. We'll improve every time. This is just, we whip them up and really think of it on the go and set it up and see how it turns out.
Yeah, so anyone listening or watching, feel free to, contact Round Valley Trout Association, or even just contact us, and we'll obviously forward it over to who it needs to get to. But
What do you guys have to say to a person that they're 100% interested in fishing Round Valley, but they're not interested in tournament fishing at all? They could still be members, right?
Yeah.
Correct.
Absolutely.
We have an email from a person that for you guys. He said he's been a member of the club for 16 years and he's never fished a single tournament.
Yep. We got plenty of guys
Plenty.
that are members and they just don't bother fishing the tournaments.
Yeah.
Some don't even fish the reservoir at all.
Yeah, they get involved in
members.
they get involved in other things, maybe the trout stocking or going to shows. We go to shows, we do flea markets to raise money. They get involved in other things rather than the tournaments.
Right.
Now,
So-
Mike, do you? I know you have. If I open the floor up to you, do you have anything specific that you want to talk about? Because I know you have a ton of stuff that you wanted to make sure you talk about.
Yeah, we've been working on a lot of new stuff, and we're kind of taking the club in a different direction here a little bit. We're trying to bring it up to the times. You know, I know you guys had spoken about it on a prior podcast about the different clubs and what things should be happening and stuff, and we're really trying our best, like I said, to bring the club up to speed. And, you know, we've set up PayPal, Venmo, we have a new website. You know, we're revamping all of our signage, so on and so forth, our Facebook page. You know, we have a new sponsor program we're doing. And I guess I could talk about it tonight then, some new things we have going on. We're doing a fishing trip raffle now with a good friend of mine, Pete Lahosky from Prime Time Charters out of Oswego, New York. We're going to be selling tickets for that, $10 a piece. We're capping it at 100 tickets. Pete has graciously, as usual, donated the trip to the club. He's donated trips to the club for probably the past 10 years or more to use for raffles and stuff, put towards trophy trout, so on and so forth. But that's going to be a trip for 2 people for 5 hours for muskie fishing on Lake Nakamixon or crappie fishing on Spruce Run Reservoir for 2 people. So that'll be for it. It's like I said, $10 a ticket, and we're capping it at 100 tickets right there. And all that money will be used to stocking trophy trout, bait fish, so on and so forth, to go back into the reservoir.
I heard another rumor. I heard that there's a certain fish in the lake tagged that if you catch it, you get to go fishing with Chuck Manny. Is that true?
That is true.
That is true.
Well, it's not one fish. Any fish you catch with a tag in it, you can, at the boat ramp, there's a QR code you scan, you put the date you caught the fish, the tag number. Then at our December meeting, we're going to put all the tickets all the tags in a hat and pick one tag, and that person's going to win the trip with Chuck Manny.
Huh.
That's cool.
So-
I was ready to make fun of Joe. I didn't think that was real. I'll be
No,
honest.
it's 100% true.
It's 100% true, yeah.
That is
Just
that
got
is
to catch a tag trout.
Rumors are true.
Catch a trophy tag trout.
Yep.
Fishing Round Valley is like a cool video game almost now. You got all these different stuff. You got all these different things in there. That's awesome. That's really cool.
What else, guys? What else?
And we
you have?
got, we're working on some other stuff besides the Grand Slam tournament. We're setting up right now, working on getting our first annual Veterans Appreciation Tournament going. That we're trying to get it set for September 16th. So any Round Valley Trout Association members want to donate their time for the day, obviously the boat also, or volunteer at the ramp, at the way station, so on and so forth. That'd be great. We're looking to get 25 to 30 veterans and hopefully around 20 boats. 20 or so boats, yeah. So
That's
Make
cool.
it happen.
That's awesome. I
Now,
know, Chris. When Chris had mentioned with the kids, and getting the kids to the launch early in the morning. Chris, remember we talked about that on another episode. Is there if you
yeah.
fish a tournament, is there a certain time that you have to be there by?
Yeah, I think by 10 a.m. they shut the sign-ups down. So you can get there, 8, 9, up
Sure.
to 10 o'clock
Yeah.
and still fish till 2 or 2:30.
And there's
But
a kid. There's a children's.
I never told my kids that though when I took them. It's always up. Yeah.
Well, yeah, if you want the extra fishing time, you got to keep that a secret.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
there is
sure.
there's a totally separate children's division. Ronnie, your daughter fishes in it a lot. Matt, your son won it
Yeah,
last
yeah.
year.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
after 15 years old is the last year you can fish for the junior division. After 15, when you turn 16, you got to move up to the adult division because you got to buy your license.
Right.
So you're considered as an adult at that point.
So you're stuck with your son on your boat now.
That's it.
Yeah, yeah. He only
How
owns
old-
half the
how-
boat now.
Yeah,
He
How
only
old do
owns
you have
half
to
of
be? Yeah, he told us half. How old do you have to be to get a boater's license in New Jersey?
16, or actually younger. I think you can get it like
You just can't get it to the water.
yeah.
Yeah. You can't drive it there. You can drive the boat, you just can't drive the boat to the water.
Yeah.
So as soon as he gets a driver's license, he's kicked off that boat
He's
immediately.
got it.
That's it, yeah.
He's got
You guys are.
it.
Dude, when
I
I,
think
when
they
I
have a
was there,
line.
By my side.
They might have a
was
line
there
down the
earlier
middle of the
today.
boat.
I was picking up some of your son's baits. Have you guys
Yep.
they look awesome. I can't wait to use them. I'm gonna bring them up to Cayuga with me. But when I was there, Joe, I saw Matt's rig. Oh my God, like you should be embarrassed because I've been on your boat trolling. His rig is just go there and try to copy his stuff.
Yeah, I know.
Anybody's
I saw the lure box. That's all I needed to see.
I didn't even look at that.
Good, you're lucky.
He's got a few.
Guys, it's been anyone have anything else we missed?
Well, real quick about the veterans event.
Yep.
For people who want to go and, basically if you have a boat that's big, what is there a size of the boat that because like, let's say, for example, I got a pretty small boat. I don't fish Round Valley that much. I got a 14-foot aluminum. It's awesome for the rest of New Jersey. Not so great for Round Valley and Lake Apacon, places like that. But like, I don't know, if I came down and wanted, a veteran can jump in my boat. It's kind of small. What would you say? I mean, you want guys with bigger boats that can, fit maybe 2 veterans to take them fishing, or what's the deal with that?
Well, what we're going to try to do is at least get, obviously, 1 veteran per boat. We do have a lot of boats and members here at Round Valley Trout Association who can accommodate 2 veterans on the boat comfortably. But if a 14-foot boat like yours, Chris, is perfectly fine. Perfectly fine.
And now, like, I can probably only troll effectively 5 rods. So the guy who gets stuck fishing with me is screwed. He's not going to catch much. So I'd probably feel bad.
You never know. You never
You
know.
only have to catch one good
That's
fish.
correct.
Matt, what's the most color lead core reel on your boat?
On mine, it
Yeah,
depends on the time of the year. Right now, I'm running like 1 through 4, 2 through 5.
You ever
Yeah.
run like 5 through 9, 6
Yeah.
through 9? Do you?
During the summer, when the water temperature gets hot and the thermal climb drops down a little bit, I run 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Depending on the time of the year and the temperature.
And what are you doing, Ronnie? What's going on over there?
Yeah,
How'd
so
you catch that lake trout? You posted the picture of the lake trout from, I think, 12 years ago or 7 years ago.
yeah. I caught that on a 6 color. Fishing a tournament, and but we run segmented. A lot of us run segmented lead core. So you'll have a pole with a 1 color. You have a pole with a 2 color, a 3 color, 4 color. I run 1 through 5. That's the not at one time, but that's what I have. Segmented rods, and then I also have 10 colors. So if I want to go more than that, I'll clip a board on close to the boat, say a 6, 7, or an 8 color. And that's basically what we run. We'll run either 3 or 4 boards mostly.
We lost them.
Did we lose them? I know they had a storm.
Oh, we lost.
Did we get them back?
I think we got them back, but we lost them.
We lost you for a second there. I don't know how bad it's storming.
All right.
I don't
You can
know.
hear us again?
You got us?
It looks like we got you back, but we just
All right.
missed the last thing you said there.
Can you refinish the 15 seconds, the last 15 seconds of that segmented lead core you were just talking about?
Yeah, we run segmented lead core. I have a 1 color, a 2 color, 3 color, 4, and a 5. So, you know, we run that mostly 3 or 4 boards on each side. And just say a 3 color will be the furthest one out. Then I'd go to a 4 color and a 5 color. Deeper, more lead core colors the closer to the boat. So that when you get a fish, you can go over top of the other ones, And anything more than 5 colors, I run a 10 color. And I'll clip in either 6, 7, 8, whatever I want, right on the board, right on the lead core. Close. Some guys don't like doing that.
You could clip lead core to a planer board. What, doesn't it break it?
Sure. Not always. You can do it. You got to be careful. That's the one closest to the boat,
What are your?
It does wear it out after a while, but that's the cost of doing business.
Yeah, hey, I mean, lures don't last forever either. You got to do what you got to do.
What are your secrets, Mike? Are you a downrigger guy or a planer board guy?
I'm more a planer board guy. I do run riggers, but I like running that. I run slide divers a lot. And the Lakers, I like running bottom bouncers, Seems like Round Valley. Yeah, they don't like the riggers for me as much anymore. I'll run the riggers up higher, but near the bottom, I'd rather run 10 color lead core, try and get close to the bottom. We run copper. We pull copper. You want to get it just to where it's almost ticking the bottom so you don't lose your lure.
Copper seems to be like the new thing. That's the new thing everyone is kind of switching over to. Like when we went up to Tarnowski, he had a lot of that copper, Chris, remember? He was
Yeah, but you know what? Like my buddy Artie that I was talking about before that passed away. Did we just lose him again?
No, they're there.
Anyway, he loved trolling. That's all he wanted to do. I'll do it. Obviously, I'm going to do what's going to catch the most fish at Round Valley. Trolling seems to reign supreme, obviously, and he liked to fish there. And we'd go trolling. And when we started doing that, it kind of seemed like it was trending the other way. Guys were getting sick and tired of the kinks and stuff in the copper line, and they were switching back to the lead core. And then it just seems like maybe it depends on the group of people that's been doing it, and there's pros and cons to both, I'm sure.
Yep. Some days I do good with the copper, and I don't get nothing with the lead core. Other days they like the lead core, and they don't touch the copper. I always go by what the fish like,
Wow,
the fish will let you know.
The fish will let you know. It depends on the fact.
Okay, obviously. I mean, that's the way you got to do it. But when you're talking like dozens and dozens of rod setups, someone who's just getting started, who really wants to fish Round Valley, they've come to the conclusion that trolling is the way to go. What can they start off with? Because they're not going to go right off the bat and buy 30 setups and have something for everything. They kind of need a starting point. Because I think that's where it becomes kind of daunting when you're trying to, I need all this stuff. I need something for everything. What would you say if I had no trolling gear at all? I want to fish Round Valley. I know I have to troll. Where do I start? What do I start with? Maybe I'm going to buy 3 or 4 setups, and I'm just going to go for it. 2 rods on each side. I'm just going to go for it.
Yeah. I'd have 2 5-color setups with 2 boards and just run 1 on each side. And then you could clip it in wherever you want, a 1 color to a 5 color. A spool of lead core is 10 colors. So you cut the spool in half and run and have 2 setups, 1 for each side. And that'll cover the column until you learn what you're doing, and you can figure that out. Then you buy another 2 setups.
Right.
And same thing, you could do 2 more 5 colors if you wanted to, and get 2 more boards. Now you're fishing 4 rods. And down the road, you could get down riggers, or you could even go to, slide divers like that and go advance that way. Because Downriggers are a lot more money unless you get the hand cranks. They're a little bit more affordable.
What do you got? What's
Sorry,
your
Joe.
what is your guys' opinion on distance behind the ball? Because I do run my shit very, very far behind the ball on Round Valley, where on other lakes I do not.
Well, you ask 10 fishermen that, and they're going to give you 10 different answers. Again, what we said before, you got to let the fish tell you what they want. And what I mean by that is you got to check the temperature of the water, the clarity of the water, and also your speeds you're trolling, okay, and what you're pulling down on those lines down there. And that's going to tell you what area of the water column you want to be in, and also that'll tell you a little about your setbacks. I try to, with my downriggers, I have a number that I usually use here on Round Valley is 65. I'm a 65 setback guy. I'll start out with that. Before I change the colors of my lures, if the lures aren't being bit, what I'll do, I'll change the setback distance. I'll bring it either closer to the ball or farther away from the ball, okay, before I go changing lures. Because a lot of times, just like with electronics, I know we're going off a little bit, but the PS30 by Garmin right there, that'll tell you, if you put it in a flip configuration, a lot of guys have seen where fish actually come up to the vibration of the ball on their lateral line. They'll hunt that ball, and the lure is so far back off of the ball, the fish engages the ball, and then it peels off and goes, okay? The guys have seen that with the technology with the PS30. Some guys will actually get within 3 feet of the ball. They'll have the lure right there because the fish feels that ball on the lateral line. It'll race in into the ball, and there's the lure, and it'll try to kill that lure.
I've seen on my fish finder, I think Chris has been with me when it looks like a fish smashed its face into the ball. That's what it looks like. No?
Yeah, on just a regular down scan, no special, like even on the regular old school fish finders, you can sometimes see a fish come right up on that ball. And I know, I mean, like I don't do a lot of this, obviously, nothing close to what you guys are doing, but I have some of those Canon clamp-on downriggers, and so like if I'm going to be doing this, I just clamp them on, and you know, I'm sure they'll break eventually, but so far I haven't had any issues with them, and I just clamp them on. They can't support a real heavy ball. I think I have one of the smaller balls on there, so if I go too fast, it pulls up and all that stuff, but there's like holographic tape on my balls to attract fish.
You
I mean, it
clip
looks like
that.
What?
Clip that holographic tape on my balls. Please clip that.
Yeah, as soon as I said it, I heard it, and I was just hoping I could just blow by it without Joe saying anything. But
clip that immediately. Timestamp 5531.
But anyway,
But back to your question, though, I would say on average, most guys are probably at their first initial set, they're probably back 25 feet.
Yeah.
20, 25. And then they're working it from there, you know.
I always like to put one close and then put one further back. And like let the fish tell you what they like.
Average it out.
Exactly. There you go.
You guys just got back from that awesome trip to Seneca where you guys put on a pretty good showing at a lake really far away. Is that something that you guys do privately, or is that something offered to all the club members to go?
So that was all privately. Anyone could have went. We just all grouped up together. We've been doing it a couple of years. Mike's been doing it a long time.
7 years, I think. This is my 7th year.
Mike, what was it like catching? I'm obsessed with salmon. That fish was over 7 pounds. What was it like catching that fish?
They fight really well. Those landlocks fight really well. They're good fighting fish, you know. We catch them on the small warrior spoons. They're fun to catch. I mainly try to target the rainbows myself, but you know, incidental catch, we do catch the salmon. You know, pulling the same lures, same speeds. So.
If you guys could answer one more question for the emailers.
Sure.
I just had it. Now I lost it.
I was going to ask you.
So the continuous problem of the algae blooms on Spruce Run and Lake Apacon, is there a threat of this event occurring on Round Valley?
We haven't seen anything.
That would be something to ask the biologist, honestly. I think we'd be speaking a turn if we would answer that.
I mean, like, I'm not a biologist either, obviously, but I think the whole thing about how the lake kind of went sterile because there was nothing being pumped into there, I think you're not going to see any kind of algae bloom because there's not really any, for the same reason that the herring population can't sustain itself.
Yeah. Right.
Like, in other words, all those microorganisms and stuff that kind of start that process, like, it's too much in these other places and it's non-existent in Round Valley. I don't know the details of it. Like I said, I'm not a biologist either, but yeah, I don't think they're gonna have any problem.
There's no houses that the water runs off really into Round Valley.
Right.
Yeah, it's really, out in the open there. The houses are all downhill. There's not really water coming from your grass or your fertilizers or anything like that.
Yeah.
So
and plus Round Valley is a deeper impoundment. Where Spruce Run, you have those long flats out there that are shallower, and those water temperatures actually get pretty high in there, which you guys know from hybrid striper fishing over there. So.
Yeah.
Now, those shirts and hats you guys have on, like, are those available to buy?
They are.
And you can buy them on the website?
Shirts.
No, the shirts, you buy them at the meetings.
Meetings.
Or you can pick them up we'll have them available at all the tournaments at the weigh station there. Yeah. Greg Wojcik is actually handling all of our apparel now.
Okay.
All the apparel sales. Yep.
Now, Joe, there was another email that you're forgetting about. I don't have access to the email right now.
I had already talked to Mike about that email.
Yeah, I'd like to discuss that with you if you don't mind.
I could bring that email up if
Sure.
Chris talk to them about. So ask.
Right.
Get more secrets out of them.
You bring up that email. Do any of you? So again, going back to the limited trolling I've done, most of my trolling, I would always have. So my buddy had those the automatic jigging arms. Do any of you guys? Is that a popular thing with you guys?
There's the slang term is they call them fly jerkers.
Okay.
I'm actually in the process right now of getting a pair of them off of Mike Herman from Yellow Dog Paddle, so I'll let you know how they work. Yeah.
So, like,
I
can remember fishing from the shore over there, just on, like, we just didn't feel like getting the boat or whatever. We only had an hour, and we're fishing from the shore, and we see some guys going by, and the rods are just like, it just looks like the rod's just jerking on both sides, and we're just looking at it, and we're just making fun of them. But we came to talking to one of the guys, and my buddy was sold on it. He went and he went fishing with the guy, and he couldn't stop bragging about it. He bought one. He loved doing that. That's what he did. I refused to buy one of those machines, but I saw how well it worked. And I was actually, if you ever see anyone out there doing it by hand, it's probably me. But
I have the email.
All right, you give me a second. So, like, it's a pretty cool tactic. I don't want to get into it right now. Like, it could be a half an episode right there talking about it, but it's basically like the finesse of fly fishing combined with the effectiveness and the efficiency of trolling and covering water. It's a pretty cool concept that I think we'll probably get someone who's real informed about it come on here and maybe talk about it on a later episode. But it's really cool. Yeah.
Because what the whole premise of that machine is the lure in the water. When it pulls forward, it pulls our lure fast, and then it drops back. Fast forward, drops back.
Yeah.
And sometimes the fish want to hit it on the drop back. Sometimes when the fish want to hit it when it's racing away. So that's what.
And those flies.
Look how DeGrasse is sitting there. Look at the face on DeGrasse. He's like, fuck that. I don't need no machine. Yeah,
but to take a line out of his own words, you don't need anything, but you got to try everything. You got to let the fish tell you what they want.
Yeah, right.
Yep.
Mike, you want me to read? Should I read this?
No, I mean, I can address the if you want to read a little bit of the comment, yeah.
Just paraphrase.
It says a number of years ago, and really not that many years ago, RVTA leadership unfortunately agreed with the New Jersey Division of Fish and Wildlife to drastically cut the rainbow trout stocking to only 6,540 trout which is what continues to be stocked annually to this day. Previously, they stocked twice that amount of trout. This is a big mistake on the RVTA's big mistake on their part, in my opinion. And it's not on anyone's radar. The RVTA does a lot of good things for the reservoir, but the best thing the RVTA could do to enhance the fishery is to have the state allocate more rainbow trout to the stocking. It would immensely improve the fishing at no cost to the club. Is the RVTA and the state going to restore the stocking levels to what they originally were? Best regards, Charlie R.
Okay, to address that. The state traditionally has always stocked between 6,300 and 6,500 trout in Round Valley in any calendar year. The additional trout that were stocked in there were stocked by the club, Round Valley Trout Association, okay? At one point, one of our stockings almost matched what the state had stocked between 6,000 and 6,500, okay? But you got to remember back, this is the key factor to that. That is when we had close to 1,100 members in the club, okay? Obviously, we don't have those numbers any longer, unfortunately. We're down to just under 200 members right now. We do the best we can with the money that we do have. But here's the thing. Stocking more trout is not always the answer because of the fact that you have to listen to the biologists. And if the forage base is not readily available for those fish when they're stocked, you're going to have a lot of mortality rate in those fish. We can stock 20,000 fish, but in a month, if half of those fish are dead, what good are they? You're wasting the money. And, you have to really look at the water and let that tell you, what forage base is available for those fish. You just can't put them in it to starve to death,
Right.
So, but that's why we haven't, that's why, the state has, like I said, has never stocked those numbers before. It's always been the club supplementing those numbers. But that's, like I said, when we had a lot of membership and a lot of money coming to the club where we could. But then, remember, guys, we had herring. And we had an abundance of herring in there, like they see at Merle Creek Reservoir right now. We had pods. I mean, you cross over pod after pod after pod of herring when you're trolling in there. Now, it's like, you do see the shiner pods, from the stockings that we do. But, but I just wanted to address that because, that's, I'm glad he emailed that in and stuff like that. And if anybody, had those thoughts about that, that's not what was really going on. So.
Now, this is one question from me personally. Would you guys like to see the closing of night fishing on that reservoir? Because I feel that's probably when you guys lose the most amount of rainbow trout.
I don't want to see anybody lose access to anything.
Right.
I think once you start closing down access on sportsmen, it opens up a can of worms. And I think it's, you're letting the genie out of the bottle at that point, per se.
Yeah.
And it leads to other things. And, everybody, they have the right to be out there at night fishing. Is the mortality rate on those rainbows or something, they bring them up through the thermocline and trying to get them back going again, they have a hard time? Yes. I think, but most guys who do it all the time, and I think we can all attest to this, most of the guys have some type of means where they can put the fish in a cooler with colder water and get them revived, and most guys will then let them go. And they'll get down through they have enough oomph to get down through the thermocline and back down to their comfort levels right there. So,
yeah, I do. I mean, I do it because it's fun and it's fun to take the kids because it's a high action thing, but the mortality rate is not great. And plus, the fish have to be 15 to keep, and the state puts them in mostly around 9-10 inches, so you have to get them back revived. So it's a sticky situation with the night fishing.
Well, I agree with 100%. You can't do anything to hinder anyone's access, and like it's all a slippery slope. I would stand up to anything that tried to restrict even just a little bit, even if you agreed with it. Really, I would still pretty much resist it. If you once you put it in the hands of government-based it's just not a good thing. I think hopefully anglers take it on themselves to, okay, so if you want to go out there, like Joe wants to go out there because it's fun, it's awesome, it's action for the kids, and you just kind of, like you guys said, research a way to get those fish revived and released if you want to catch that many of them. Or if you don't have a way to do that, maybe, you stop after you catch a couple that you're going to eat and you're not going to waste and whatever.
Right.
And I think if everyone kind of does their part as an angler, that's the way to go. You can't hand over any extra power and restrictions. You can't do it.
Absolutely.
That's what I think.
Guys, it's been unbelievable to have the three of you on at once. I wish I could just pick your brains all night, but
Pick away.
Go to the meeting.
You got us here, so you got any other questions about
No,
make
them come to
whatever.
the meeting.
I went to
Yeah,
a meeting.
I'm going to meet.
Listen, I've been to more meetings than you have. And actually, I went to the meeting to get the plaque that you were involved in winning. You didn't even show up, and you live 10 minutes away, and I live an hour and a half. So
I'm sure there was a good reason.
yeah, your Elio's pizza got burnt probably.
Hey,
Guys,
you know what?
Are
I
all
hope-
three of you guys fishing in the Grand Slam?
I will not be. I'll be up on Lake Ontario fishing a tournament that weekend. So
Yeah, I won't be either. I'll be in Lake George on vacation.
Total bummer. I shouldn't even ask that.
he's Matt's Waymaster. So
Matt's
yeah.
Waymaster.
Hey,
Alright,
well, you know what? Anyone listening now knows that they have a little bit better chance of winning, at least.
Yeah, their three heavy hitters are now sidelined. Our odds have improved.
So they just gave some of their tips and secrets on here to fish over there, and now they're not even going to be there. So you can use their own stuff against. They're not even going to be there.
Guys, it's really unbelievable. I don't know what else to say to you. I really don't.
I do have something else to say. We have in February of 2024, we're gonna have a brown trout seminar. Okay. That time of year, everybody's got cabin fever and stuff. And a good friend of mine said, Pete Lahosky from Primetime Charters. Pete's going to come out and do the brown trout seminar for us there. We're probably going to try to put it on like on a Sunday morning. And we'll have like breakfast and stuff. And then we'll have lunch in the afternoon. But Pete's going to give the seminar, the same seminar he gave at the Niagara show a couple years ago. And it's about a 5-hour seminar. We're probably going to charge like $25 or $35 per attendee. And we'll have a lot of raffles and stuff, a lot of giveaways, so on and so forth. And we're also going to have a couple of Round Valley members doing some seminars also during the intermission time. Yeah, probably Joe Sikowski is one of them, and Rob Gatos.
Oh,
you don't want
yeah?
to miss him. Rob's awesome.
Yeah.
Rob's awesome. Let me tell
I
you.
love Rob, man.
He's a heck of a presenter too. He's captivating, Rob. Yeah,
Good
he's very
fisherman. Good fisherman.
Great
Joe,
fisherman. Yeah.
the guy that was when Fallon was taking pictures of us fishing, the guy with the boat trolling, that's the salmon holder. He has the record, right? Joe Sadowski.
Yeah, Joe.
Yeah, that was him, Chris.
Yeah,
He's an older guy, right? Has
Yeah.
a Lund.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was, he was fishing right next to us the other day. I think he's trolling there every day.
Looking for, he's looking to just break his own record, I guess.
He wants to break his own record, yeah.
Probably.
And his boat's
Yeah.
for sale too. He's trying to sell.
Joe's
it.
intense.
Yeah.
Joe's intense. He's a heck of a fisherman. Let me tell you, he's probably one of the best, all-around species fishermen, like Scott had said, in the state of New Jersey. Here, Joe is. Yeah.
I can't even have like I can't have a 2-sentence conversation with Gatos without just cracking up. Gatos kills me. I can't even talk to him. Ridiculous. Guys, it's been fun. I don't know what else to say. I'll try to come to a meeting. Maybe Chris will let me sleep over one day, but he doesn't even like me.
No, I'll bring a different friend. Or I got to install those locks on the inside of the doors just to be safe.
Can you, for once, say goodbye and thank you to a guest, please? Just one time.
You know what, Joe? I just want to say, guys, again, like Joe said, thanks for coming on. And I really hope that people will, hear this, listen to it, watch it, and consider go on the website, go on the Round Valley Trout Association website.
Sure.
They've updated things. I mean, they're coming up, staying up with the times. I mean, not to throw like Knee Deep Club under the bus, but they haven't taken these steps to update everything yet, and I hope they will. But this just shows that you guys have to have seen a jump in memberships once you put on the website. I mean, I hope guys will take my example like I just did. I'm not joking. I literally just went on my iPad at the beginning while you guys were setting up, while we were getting everything set up, and I literally just signed up to be a member again right on the website. Easy as can be.
You do realize as soon as Mike K realizes you did that, he's going to rip you. And you deserve it. You're going to get ripped. Because we've been telling you to join for 20 years, Chris.
It came to the point where I was like, you know what? I want to like play devil's advocate and just represent all these lazy bastards that don't want to fill out the paperwork to join these clubs.
Oh, so you went on the internet and joined to show the lazy bastards what to do?
Yeah, basically.
Good job. And it worked perfectly.
Well, I kind of wanted to make a point. Like,
this episode has not aired yet, and you guys have gained a member. So you're up.
The Round Valley Trout Association is going through the steps that they need to go through to keep up with everything.
I agree. Keep up with the times.
I'm just showing my appreciation by doing it. I mean, and I hope that guy, and look, I'll be totally honest. I'm probably not going to fish Round Valley Reservoir all that much, maybe a handful of times over the course of the year at most. It doesn't matter. It's like you have to keep clubs like this going strong. They're a huge part of what they do. Right now, you're single-handedly keeping that fishery a fishery. Without Round Valley Trout Association, Round Valley, after that, the whole episode with how it got, the sterilization, whatever else they're blaming it on, there would be next to nothing there. You'd be fishing on the swimming side, and you'd be fishing for tiny lake trout and shiners. There wouldn't be anything else.
But I'm also now I am a little more interested in going to the meetings because they're actually I didn't know they're sharing specifics, like DeGraff sharing how many colors he's running, how far behind the ball. I mean, these guys are really sharing good information here. So,
and guys, that's what we want to do. We want to teach people because we want to teach people so they obviously learn, catch more fish, and use the resource. It's there, and the more successful they are, the more willing they're to say, "Hey, let's take the boat out this weekend. Let's go over and troll," or "Hey, let's maybe try our hand at a tournament," type of thing. Yeah. And that gets people, sparks their interest, and with our membership numbers, the more members we have, the more eyebrows we raise. And that goes right up to the state level with biologists and everything, they listen to us, and they've been a good partner of ours with the biologists, working with them. And like I said, we're here to teach people. There's no secrets here. I mean, years ago, these people were saying that those guys are just like a clique and everything, approach any of us at the boat ramp. I mean, all three of us, we've helped countless people with little tips and stuff like that. And it's nice to hear you run into somebody a couple weeks later. Hey, I tried that color spoon you said to run at 2.2 miles an hour back in the back end back there of the reservoir, and I caught X amount of rainbows. I never caught a rainbow before in my life, man. Thank you. And they like, I'm joining the club and stuff, and the people actually do appreciate you. Take the time and show them a couple of little things and get them on their way. And like I said, they appreciate it.
And also, when you are a member, it's $25, but then when you enter a tournament, you get in for $5 cheaper than a non-member, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
So if you fish 4 tournaments, it basically is free in itself.
Pays for itself.
Sure.
It pays for itself in 4 tournaments.
Yep.
And a lot of people don't fish tournaments. They're afraid, this guy's gonna beat me every time. It's really. It comes down to luck. It's only 2 fish now. It's not a full limit. It's anybody's ball game now. It's one big Laker, one big rainbow or brown, and it's really anybody's game.
Yeah.
So don't be afraid to fish a tournament just because these guys are so good. They got 50 rods on the boat. Look at you. You caught that big Laker in a tournament, and
his rig's a piece of shit compared to yours.
I
just wanted to finish your sentence. I knew that's what you were saying.
I didn't want to say, I wanted to say it nice,
Yeah.
but that's how.
Anybody could win.
I mean,
Yeah.
my boat's awesome. I don't care what you say.
No, I
Nah,
like it.
your boat's fine, Joe. I'm just busting your balls.
His
My
tackle
boat's-
box is nice. You have to see. You didn't show it to him when he was there.
No, he's got to come to a meeting
Yeah.
for that.
He
hides
basically,
it.
it's
He hides
basically
it. We were
like
looking
a,
for it.
it's like a,
You bring your
it's like
tackle
a-
box to the meeting, I'll come.
It's a
Yeah.
coffin for humans with a spoon every half inch. But it's
Every color ever made.
guys, I can't thank you enough. This has been absolutely awesome. I hope that people watch this, join the club, get on the website. Is there anything else you guys want to plug or advertise before you go?
Yeah.
You know, one other thing Round Valley does, Trout Association, we raise money to stock brown trout in Round Valley, which I don't think there's any other state lake in New Jersey that you could fish for brown trout.
Not
We
public.
have a, what is it, a brown trout
Restoration.
restoration project like going on where you could donate, and the money we raise, the more brown trout we could, put in there up to a certain, we don't want to put too many in and crash it, but we want to see year by year, we want to see those fish coming out a nice size,
Yeah.
and if it gets better, then we can put more in. If it's not looking good, then we put a little less in. We try but you still have that option to go for, brown trout, rainbow trout, and lake trout, all in the same lake.
Is it? Are we ever going to see the water level come back up to where we could launch from the dock again?
Next year.
It'd be nice, yeah.
Next
year, I
That's
think they're going to
That's
start.
what they're telling us, yeah, next year.
They're going to start raising it next year. That's what they told you.
Yeah.
And then is it going to take, what's it going to take before it's actually full? Do they say, or a couple of months or what?
It came up pretty quick.
Yeah.
It came up pretty quick this last time they raised
last
it up.
pump up,
So
Yeah.
it all depends on the price of electric, really, to run those
Mhm.
pumps and the amount of water coming down.
Available water.
In the South Branch, yeah.
So it's a touchy subject, but they should start raising it soon.
Yeah, well, that's good news. I mean, when it comes to entities like that, you kind of just, I'll believe it when I see it type of thing, but I hope it's true.
Right.
Yeah.
Another thing too is that we're starting a dialogue with the state right now. There's 3 of us are actually going to stay in close contact with the biologists and some other state officials, discussing the present state of the reservoir and what the future brings for the reservoir. And that obviously with pump ups in the future, keeping nutrients possibly coming in the reservoir and getting a solid baits fish population back and started in there again. Yeah. So.
I know we're basically out of time and Joe keeps trying to go to bed, but just real quick, you just made me think of it. Has anything crazy ever been thought of trying, like putting some kind of different bait fish that we don't typically have here? Like, I mean,
Mike, what about land locks? Could we put some land locks in there?
Joe, we're talking about the bait. Can't even support the bait that's
Yeah,
in there.
the landlocks are meat eaters again.
Yeah.
They are bad too.
No, I'm saying like, I
Are
don't know.
are the shiners that you guys put in, do they breed or do they just grow and get eaten?
They reproduce in there.
They do.
Yeah.
They do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I know that the state would never allow this, and maybe it's a terrible idea, but like, what about like gobies? Like gobies get into these other places up north, and they're terrified that they're going to ruin the fishery. Next thing you know, the smallmouth are eating the shit out of them and becoming huge.
Yeah.
And it just nature just kind of finds a way to balance it out, and it ends up not being
There's
bad
that
at all.
nature finds a way again. You're like the guy from Jurassic Park. Nature finds a way.
Yeah.
It just keeps
I'm
using
not
that
saying
line.
go throw gobies in there, but I'm just saying like
Yeah.
someone should
Gobies
be
are
thinking.
dangerous to let out. They could destroy the reservoir with them.
No, I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm not saying to do. It was just an example off the top of my head.
The round goby has been a success story on Lake Ontario. Okay, I can talk about that firsthand. The browns, they can't get enough of them. The brown trout, and those gobies, they stay by all the rock structure there, and the browns just hammer them.
Well, so okay, so there you go. I mean, maybe my question wasn't that crazy, because maybe someone needs to start thinking outside the box. I'm not saying you guys, I'm saying the biologists that work for the state probably. Maybe someone needs to think outside the box and figure out a way to regenerate that lake. I mean, hopefully the water getting pumped back in should help, but may need another kickstart of some sort. And I don't know what that is, but like I said, someone maybe think of something crazy and give it a try or something.
Right now is the perfect storm we've been calling. We've been discussing with the E-board, and that perfect storm is with the water levels being down for the construction going on in the dam, and the dams and the dikes there at Round Valley Reservoir has let that growth regenerate on the shorelines. I mean, you guys have been out there, you've seen it, you guys have all seen it.
Yeah.
You have a lot of Russian olive out there. You have sycamore trees growing out there. Sycamore trees are probably 20-some feet tall already. You know, we're talking in water where it's normally 15, 20 feet deep. And with that being said, that perfect storm is you have all that undergrowth, and as the water fills back up in there, okay, if you have a bait fish population, that bait fish population has nursery areas now. They get away from the predator fish, okay? And with all those nutrients being pumped back in, now is the time to talk about a viable source of a bait fish to put back in there, whether it be herring, whether it be more golden shiners, so on and so forth. As a club, we've looked into the possibility of getting federal grants, but that's going to have to take a lot of heads being put together with the state, the biologists, and possibly maybe get some grants to get down south, shiners, whatever. There's programs out there, and we're actually actively looking into those as we speak. And we're going to work with the state with those, and obviously get their input, and hopefully go forth with some of those programs. So,
oh, I mean, that's great news, and I hope it works. I hope the ball gets rolling. I hope whatever needs to be kickstarted in there, and because it's a good reservoir now. It's a great place to fish, but it used to be just 10 times. I mean, not even comparable when the bait.
yeah.
When everything was working the way it should, it was something else.
When you have a reservoir like that, that's putting out browns the size that Lake Ontario does, that's saying something back in the day.
Yeah.
It wasn't uncommon for 8, 10, 12-pound browns to go out and catch it.
Yeah.
It wasn't uncommon
That
at
was
all.
the heyday.
Yeah.
Well, I hope it starts working its way back to that. We can all hope, and everyone do what we can. I mean, if you guys ever need help getting the word out on anything, or people write a letter or whatever, feel free.
I have another question for them here. How do you guys feel about the lake being called the Bermuda Triangle of New Jersey, and the stories that it's New Jersey's most haunted and cursed body of water?
What?
Who wants to take that one?
I mean, I've seen some stuff out there. I've seen a guy fall over in the middle of February, and if we didn't get to him in time, he would have drowned to the bottom. You can't take that lake for granted.
This email goes on to say that there's over 30 boats missing in the past 40 years.
Is that true?
Was explored
No.
in a submarine by Jacques Cousteau.
Joe, what the hell are you reading?
I'm serious.
You need to vet these emails, I think.
I think so, but this guy's he's for real.
Who sent it?
Robert V. I'm going to Google it. Go ahead.
Jacques Cousteau. Actually, Jacques Cousteau did put a sub in there back in the 80s. He did. I gotta say, Joe, he did. So,
but there's not 30
there was
boats,
a small sub in
30 shipwrecks in there.
Is there 30 shipwrecks in the lake? Is there 30 missing people in there?
No.
Is it haunted?
Maybe.
I know some fishermen are haunted. Some of the fish they lost there.
Yeah.
Haunted by those fish.
Yeah, there's some guys haunted by some lost fish in there for sure.
Listen, I've heard it. I have heard of it referred to as the Bermuda Triangle of New Jersey before. That's not the first time I've heard someone say that.
It's a big reservoir. It's a lot of open space. If you don't look at the weather can definitely turn on you there, and the wind can pick up some speed like a wind tunnel over there. And you got to play it safe. There's a couple of lakes like that, but
Let me ask you guys one more question. 'Cause this
Well,
is,
let me add to that question, Joe. Every death in Round Valley Reservoir was preventable, okay? A lot of us guys wear the inflatable PFDs. If people would just wear their PFDs, there was a young man a few years back. He went to Dick's Sporting Goods, bought a kayak, bought his paddle, bought his PFD. Guess what? He went out of the launch cove. He was so excited about going out. And when the state police recovered his body, his car was there and the PFD was on the front seat of the car. And people on the shoreline watched him go under, turn over. He was a new kayaker and he was just excited to go out, forgot to put the PFD on. It was a simple thing. But every death in Round Valley Reservoir was preventable at that point.
yeah, that's true.
it kind of happens everywhere. It's not like a specific round. These are just old ghost stories. But
that's a good point. I mean, that's call it a PSA, public service announcement if you want, but everyone's heard it,
Sure.
but you're going to hear it again. I mean, especially if you're fishing alone,
And you're trolling. What's the boat doing? The boat's moving. You're in the back, leaning over the side, setting downriggers, setting dipsy divers, whatever, what have you. And you're trying to net a fish by yourself. You go out of the back of the boat. The boat's going to keep going.
Mm-hmm.
Yep,
That's
there you go.
That's an issue.
for live bait fishermen, is it worth any longer buying herring to fish the lake, or are you just better off fishing with shiners at this point?
It's a personal preference,
Yeah.
really. I've caught fish on shiners or herring.
Have you?
It's
Because
really-
like me and Chris do fish other reservoirs where like it seems like shiners don't work for shit, and then other ones shiners do work. But Round Valley, is it worth the herring anymore? Do you really need it?
I
Yeah.
don't know. It's really up to personal preference.
Yeah.
If the fish sees it, they're gonna eat it either way if they're hungry. Doesn't
Yeah.
matter what it is.
Yeah,
I
I
found-
think. Go ahead.
I found some days I do better with shiners. Other days I do better with herring.
Really?
I just don't know why.
You know what it probably is. I'm just spitting off the top of my head. Just so a lot of the fish in Round Valley are stocked. They hold over, obviously, but a fish that's only been in there for a season, say, is not going to be keyed on anything specific, probably, and is probably going to. It sees a live fish, sees something that attracts it, its instincts kick in, it's going to eat it. You're talking, Joe. Now you go to a different lake where there's a heavy herring population and some kind of pelagic fish is only feeding on the herring. They're totally keyed in on this. That's where I see that the shiners just don't work that well at all, if at all.
Right.
It could be just the weather conditions. Maybe they see the herring better in certain conditions than
With
they
the
see
light
the
conditions
shiner.
and stuff, yeah, with the scales on the fish, because you look at put a herring up next to a shiner, there's a noticeable difference right there. So the light infraction coming to the water could be the difference, sure.
Do you guys like any other kinds of fishing? Or your boats, I mean, specifically, are all tricked out to troll, but do you do any other stuff?
Perching.
You
Lake
like
Ontario,
perching?
end of the season, after the fish starts to come up the rivers are small, and we switch over to perch. I love perch fishing,
And you troll for them too, or you?
No, use a Tarova spot lock right over the pods, right along the rocks right there, and just jig them up with fat heads right there.
That's it. Yeah, there you go, Chris. He's jigging.
Yeah.
They're real fishermen.
Yeah.
Each angler has their preferences and stuff they don't prefer as much. But I think any real angler is gonna do what needs to be done, or like we said before, figure out what let the fish tell you what they want, and they want to catch fish, they want to be successful, and they're gonna adjust based on that, right?
Right.
Yeah. I go up every year to Lake George, and we do a lot of smallmouth fishing up there. Drifting over rock piles and just jigging, jigs and stuff like that. My kids love it, so we do a lot of that.
you know, and
It
Lake
sounded
George.
like he was about to tell us a secret lore, and then he was just like, wait a second,
Kai
I'm just
Tech.
gonna
I
say
couldn't think of the name of it. I jigged the Kai Tech.
When you guys go out on Round Valley Lake for a tournament, do you head to specific areas that are your favorite areas, or does everyone just fish the whole place?
Great question. Good, Matt.
I always start off
Well, here's
same,
secrets.
same spot, same spot every time, and then I go from there. If I'm not doing good, I'll start moving to a different spot.
And what does your boat look like exactly, so people could just follow you out of the boat?
The one with all the rods hanging out the top.
Yeah,
You'll
yeah,
see.
yeah.
Yeah, it's the one trolling like 800 rods. So I saw all those things.
That's
Yeah,
all of
look.
them. They all look that way.
We've been out of time like 3 times already, and we just can't stop talking to you guys. Andy still is on his 3rd piss break. He can't watch the episode straight through.
We were actually expecting a question from
Yeah,
Andy,
no
so
question.
yeah, what happened?
We
He's
didn't.
locked out. I shut the comments off for this whole episode, and Andy is he's been waiting for this podcast episode for 37 years. Since 1977, he's been waiting for this conversation to take place.
Well, now he can watch it, and he'll just have to pause it when he has to take his piss breaks because I
He's
think he
just
can
going
only
to
get
chain
through.
smoke cigarettes watching it
30
and get
minutes.
furious at himself. Then he's going to put a cigarette out in his hand and just shut his computer off. Guys, I'm going to say goodbye to you for the 4th time. I don't know if it's going to work, but
Wait, not
Oh,
yet,
here
not
we
yet,
go.
not
Yeah,
yet. No, lastly for me,
Go ahead.
the support is big for the club. We're all volunteers here. None of us are paid positions. All the hours we put in is all volunteer. A lot of guys donate a lot of their old fishing gear and stuff to sell at the flea markets to raise money to stock these fish and stuff. And, you know, any help that we can get either through our sponsorship program or donations or what have you, even come out and volunteering for any of the man the way stations during any of the tournaments or for the veterans tournament we're going to start having. It's greatly appreciated, you know, and the members we have are a great bunch of guys and stuff. And like I said, if you see any of our members and stuff, and I know we always approach people at the ramp, ask them if they're members and stuff. And even if they're not members, we still give them the advice. I mean, it's we want them to be successful there. And like I said, we want the people to join and come out and contribute. You know? So
Come down and
just
check
to
us
be-
out.
And just to be real clear, I don't know if we mentioned this, you don't have to be a paid member to go to the meeting. Like,
correct.
right?
That's correct.
You can go. You're not going to get turned away by a guard at the door if you don't show
There's no
your
sergeant
Round
of
Valley Trout
arms.
Association membership card. You can go to the meeting and check it out. Talk to these guys. You know, maybe join us. So it's like making a donation to it's a nonprofit organization. You make a donation, you become a member.
Bruce Litton was the perfect example. Bruce Litton went fishing from the shore with his son, and they caught a nice lake trout, and then they caught a really nice brown trout. And everyone started posting under the picture of the fish. That fish wouldn't be there if the RVTA didn't put it there. And I think a lot of people saw that comment, and they really it hit home. And I think Bruce maybe he didn't. I don't know. He said he was gonna, but I saw that comment hit home, and it has to really be emphasized. If you go to Round Valley and you catch a nice trout, if it's a rainbow, it's possible the state put it in there, but there's a high probability RVTA put it in there. If it's a nice brown trout, it's almost 100% the RVTA put it in there. If they didn't put it in there with the money that the members donated, the fish you caught would not exist because the state is not putting them in.
I gotta tell you, what Ronnie and I had a conversation on the way over here to Matt's house, and Ronnie had made this, and it struck home to me. It's like having your own private fishing club for $25. Think about that. It's a bargain.
And
You know,
you
and
have
the thing is,
discount tournament
for-
fishing.
And for the $25, or if you do a $30 family membership, just the price of admission to our August picnic meeting. We have food there. Or Christmas meeting in December. We have food and stuff there, for $25 for the year. It's a heck of a bargain. It really is.
It's a win-win.
And you could
Yeah.
use it for street cred too. Like I'm friends with Ron DeGraff and Matt Unetta and Mike Connery. That's who I fish with, dude. That's my club. Like you could use it as street cred, right, Chris?
I mean, in a way, I guess. I mean, you put it kind of weirdly, but no, I mean, for that membership fee, I mean, just to come down and bullshit with you guys and pick information off here and there to use fishing, even in other places. I mean, that's worth the price of admission in itself. And honestly, I think what Joe was getting at is anyone catching fish at Round Valley should just be guilt tripped into joining, because you're just
you want to catch big fish, you donate to the Trophy Trout Club. We put 5 pound plus fish in.
Listen, if we're being realistic with each other, like $25 barely gets me enough gas to like get to work for 2 days. So to join this trout club for a year, it's just ridiculous to even
3 coffee breaks,
Yeah,
it's
a
pork roll, egg, and
cup of
cheese. It's
coffee.
$6.
It's crazy.
I didn't even think about it. Once I found out that you guys had made it available to do digitally on your website, once I found out, I purposely waited for this episode to actually do it, but I would have, just because we have this forum to use and I want to make sure everyone knows that it's there and that it's easy to do. That's the only reason I waited. But as soon as
well, what's your true review, Chris? Was it easy to do or was it complicated? Because you're pretty stupid with computers, so.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I had a flip phone a couple months ago before you made me do this thing. But
so, how did you actually sign up for the RVTA, or did Katie do it for you?
No joke. No joke.
You did it.
And when I was there picking up the baits from their house over there, I was literally like, "Hey, look, I've been wanting to use the website to sign up, just to kind of put it out there and make sure everyone knows and make a point about it. I want to brag about how easy it is, but am I going to go on here and look like an idiot?"
No, it has to be easy, because if you were able to do it, then anyone on planet Earth can do it. No doubt.
No, you're 100% right. I'm not even joking around. I'm not
It's literally, we're on episode 16. It's still hard to get him on the podcast. Like, I can't believe he signed up for the thing over there. It's unbelievable.
I got all new equipment here. I didn't pay a cent for any of it.
You did. You're a thief.
No, I'm a scavenger.
All right, I'm going to now.
Chris, in your defense, at least you signed up, though. We appreciate it.
All joking aside, it is extremely easy. You go on the website, there's a button there, renew membership or join. You click the button, it shows up on the bottom. You click it again, it's $25. I think there's like a $1 service fee or a tax or something like that. So it's like 26, whatever. You click it, and then you could go through, and I saw like 4 different payment options. I used PayPal. My thing's already hooked up to my PayPal.
Sure.
I did okay, and it was done. I literally did it while we were setting up the podcast at the beginning. You had the Square Pay on there. You had the Google Pay, a couple other options, whatever is easiest. Right. It really couldn't be any easier. And then you guys then send something to the address I filled out, or you get an email or something, however it works, but it was easy.
Yep.
Yeah, you'll get a membership card,
A sticker.
and you'll get a newsletter now.
Get the newsletter, quarterly newsletter. Yeah.
4 times a year.
Okay, cool.
One thing I totally forgot to throw out there. Do you need to own a boat to be a member of this club?
Absolutely not.
Nope. There's plenty of good fishing right from the shore, outside of the summer months. So I would say October, right straight through spring, you could catch fish right offshore.
Sure.
Yeah, I have seen a lot of that. I'm not a big shore fishing guy. I kind of feel like handcuffed, like I gotta move and get to other spots. But if you like shore fishing, I've definitely seen some guys killing it on there on the shore.
Yeah.
I have. I've seen some nice fish from the shore.
Yeah,
no doubt about that.
And if I could just add to that, because I'm real big on the social aspect of fishing and like using these networks to like make friends, other guys that fit. You sign up to be a member or just go to a meeting and check it out, and you start talking to guys like you and other members there, I mean, unless you're some kind of asshole, if you're a sociable person and you talk to some people, you're gonna end up fishing with these guys on one of their boats. You want to fish from a boat, you start talking to people, you're gonna get invited to come fish with them on their boats.
Yeah, how do I get I want a live wire hoodie. I got to get a team.
I'll get you one. I'll get you one. Yeah.
Guys,
But, like,
I'm going to say
it's-
goodbye to you now for the 8th
Well, wait a
time.
minute now. Wait. Back to what Chris just said now, Joe. Hold on now. We can talk all night. We're fishermen. We like to talk.
Yeah.
But the three of us
We're
sitting
just
here,
warming up.
the three of us
Just warming
sitting
up.
here,
Our
we didn't know
producer
each other.
died. He's gone.
We didn't know each. We all met in a club here. We're all good. All three of us are really good friends.
Yeah.
And we fish. We
Yeah.
fish Seneca Lake. A great place to meet other people with common interests, and stuff. And that's why I want guys to come out to the meetings and stuff, and
Mhm.
talk and learn some new things, and buy the 50-50 raffles and stuff, and
Yeah. That's one thing that you were saying about, doing an online thing and watching our meeting. A lot of the money when we do our 50-50 at the meeting night, that helps pay for the rental hall. So if nobody's coming, then we have to take that out of the club money,
Yeah.
So, the more people we could get to the meetings, the less money comes out of the club, to pay for the hall rent for the month.
yeah, because almost everybody who wins the 50-50, they always put it back, and they always put it back.
Yeah,
which
put
is
it into
great,
trophy trout or, yeah.
it shows the guy's commitment to the club and the fishery at that
Of course.
point.
Nice.
All right.
Well,
I'll try
Andy
the
still is on his 5th piss break, so
Who's pissed? What are you talking about?
Andy still, he wanted 30-minute episodes. We told him
yeah.
to shove it.
This is going to be a 4-part episode.
So I told him
But
just.
if you guys know
put it on
anybody who'd
pause.
like, say again.
What was
I
that?
said I told Andy to put it on pause and go take his piss, come back, start again, take as many piss breaks as you need.
That's right. Yeah.
I don't think Andy's fight is with the RVTA, though. It's with NJ Fish and Wildlife. That's who he wants to have a fight with.
Well, I can't get those guys on here. They can't. The government will not clear any of their employees to come talk to us.
Andy still has basically been like the homeless person standing on the milk crate holding the cardboard sign that says, "Don't put the Lakers in," for 30 years, like the Armageddon. That's
No, we cleared that up. It's not the Lakers' fault.
Don't tell him that. All right, I'm going to say goodbye and thank you to you guys for the 10th time now. Mike Connery, thank you so much for coming on
Thank
the
you, Joe,
show.
Chris.
Ronnie, thank you. Matt,
Thank you.
We will see you at the way station, hopefully, with something.
All right.
to weigh in.
All right.
Look forward to
See
it.
you there.
Guys,
We'll
thank
see.
you so much, and good luck, you two, on Ontario. Awesome.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Take care, guys.
All right, so that was really a lot of information there. We probably could go on talking to hours for them and probably just make it like a 10-part special because, I mean, how long can we just keep talking to them? But he was just asking me my shirt size as Deuce ended it. I'm a medium. If you're still watching, I'm a medium. All right, guys, but next week we have Mike K from Mike K's Guide Service. He's also going to go into depth on the rules of this tournament on July 31st. So if you have any questions, John Voight, you're upset about the tower. You have to paddle there with your kayak. You keep getting upset about it. You want us to ask Mike K about that? Maybe we can. John Voight's one of the rules in the contest is you have to have the picture with the fish with the tower in the background.
Oh, really?
John Voight. It's one of the cheating deterrents. This tournament has a lot of built-in cheating deterrents.
Oh, that's what I'm most interested in. I love that.
John's not. Well, some of the tournament is paper, Chris, which you love. Some of the fish is just bunkboard pictures, but you have to have a picture with the fish. And John's very upset because he doesn't want to kayak halfway across the lake if he catches a nice bass.
Well,
I told him if he calls me, I'll drag him there.
Oh, you're saying for Spruce Run
And Round Valley.
Well, I feel like Round Valley is easy. You just have to be faced in that direction.
Oh, I'm sure John's complaining about spruce most likely. Whatever.
Well, I
I'm just
think
saying. I'm not here to debate it. I'm just saying Mikey K is coming next week to address all this. So if you have questions for Mike K, get them to njmultispecies@gmail.com. Just like we asked all the RVTA guys, we'll ask your questions. Everything with this tournament that we want to get straight, we have to get straightened out. Like Chris said, we're going to build teams with Mayhem, boaters, non-boaters, specific people that are going to go after certain species. We're going to attack this from all angles. So we're going to build everything we can to try to win this tournament. Kayakers, land people, boat people. Chris, you go for Lakers, I'll go for hybrids. Everyone's going for something different. Whole strategy we got to work out. But anyway, so next week, Mikey K, get your questions in. Any questions you have, get them in. You have 7 days to get them in. Send them in. Done deal. Moving on. After Mikey K is Muskies and NJ. It's a new muskie fishing club. We're having those guys in. The week after that, I believe, is Fallon, correct? John Fallon's coming on finally.
Yes.
Okay, that's Fallon. So John Fallon, wildlife photographer, coming on. I also have the video of fishing with him. That will be out soon, or I'll save it for when he comes out. And then lastly, exciting news. I just have to bring it up on the library.
While you're doing that, if I could just correct one thing, you said they have 7 days to send in their questions. That's not accurate because
They have
we
10.
are filming the episode with Mikey K Monday, so you have from the time you watch this episode to Monday of next week. So you have a couple of days to get the questions in.
Get your questions in for Mikey K. That's the bottom line. It's mainly directed at John. He seems to have the most questions.
I just can't wait to run him over with my boat.
Oh, okay. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button as usual. I know none of you are gonna. You're just
That's
gonna
what you were looking up?
No, you're just gonna be trolls. What I was looking up, Louis Ramirez, West Side Sharkin. We have booked our first live YouTube episode, July 29th. I believe we are going live at 5:30 p.m. We're very excited about this. We're going to be land-based shark fishing. It's West Side Sharkin, right, Chris?
Wet side. Yeah.
And I think it's wet side.
Wet side. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm always talking to Louis. I know he
behind the ears.
We have months. Louis Ramirez live episode. So we're going live. We're hitting the live button and going fishing. You guys are going to watch the whole fishing trip if you want, whether it's 5 hours, 1 hour. We'll be sitting on the camera live waiting for sharks to bite. You'll be able to comment and talk to us while Chris eats a meatball sandwich. You'll be able to watch whoever gets to fight a fish. Or you might be able to watch us all just get skunked and sit on the beach for 6 hours and do absolutely nothing. But this is going to be our first live episode. So July 29th, we will be live on the beach with Louis Ramirez, Wet Side Sharkin, doing some land-based shark fishing. So that will be cool for anyone to watch that has nothing to do.
It's going to be awesome for me and awesome for you, and we're going to have a good time. If we don't catch anything, I guess they're just going to watch me scarf down a meatball parm that you're going to buy me because you said so.
Listen, like I said, this YouTube live thing's like the new trend. We're going to do one with Dave Aw, too, in the fall, because it works better for bait fishing situations because you have more time to interact while waiting for a bite.
Look, you're booking a second one already. I'm only doing it again if it's fucking good. If it's stupid, I'm not doing it again.
It being good depends on you catching fish, and Louis, he's the guide. I mean, if he strikes out, I'm blaming him. Louis, you know what happened here, man? I'm out of here. You can see it. I mean, what are you gonna do? It's on Louis. It's his guide service.
We're gonna be bullshitting the whole time talking fish, and anyone's welcome to join in the conversation. I guess that's the point. It's like just hanging out talking about fishing, and hopefully you get to see some sharks get caught.
there's one thing that I could tell you about me and you. We don't cheat, we don't trespass, and we don't really lie. So what you see is what you're gonna get. I mean,
Wow.
it's not
Look,
gonna be staged. If it's a shitty day, you're gonna see a shitty day. I mean, that's the way it is.
if it's for the purpose of ball busting, I'm gonna lie my face off.
That's true. That's a different situation. But when
Yeah.
it comes down to fishing business, we're not going to bullshit. So if it is horrible on these live episodes, you're going to watch horrible fishing. But if you keep watching, eventually you'll see us get lucky some point. Don't know.
Joe saw a video, some guy sitting there catfishing by himself, wasn't even with anyone to talk to.
You want
He
me to
didn't-
tell him? I'll tell him. This guy was sitting on the bank of the Schuylkill River in the dark. It was Adam Minrara who sent me the picture, the link. He's sitting there with 3 glow-in-the-dark rods. He's catching nothing. There's 1.3 thousand people watching live, and they're talking to him. And at one point, he's even looking at the camera. I mean, he's looking at his computer that's filming it, and one of the rods behind him goes over. And you could see in the chat log, someone writes like fish on," with the exclamations, and you see him read the screen, and he turns around like, and then he's fighting. People watch this. So, I mean, what better one to watch than land-based shark fishing? I mean, if we get a big shark on live, that would be unbelievable. So we're taking a shot at it, and if it happens, it happens.
Hey, I mean, if people want to watch it, then I'll do it. That's it.
If we
Fine.
don't catch a shark, you get to basically just sit on the couch and watch Chris Perreira on the beach for hours. I mean, for free. You don't even need cable to see this. It's just great. Just look at what he does.
I mean, it's worth the time in itself just to make fun of Joe, in my opinion, if I was someone that wanted to tune in.
This episode is approaching how long it's going to take to drive to get to the shark fishing. So we have to go.
I need you to end this right now.
Yeah. All right. So I'll end it as my usual. Teeter, I love you. I never blocked you. I don't know what happened. The malfunction in the Matrix. I hope we're reunited somehow.
We'll reunite you guys.
You don't have to friend request my wife, though. I don't know what you're doing with that.
He's coming on the show at the end of the month to talk about your wife.
Is he trying to? I don't know what he's doing. Is he
We'll
trying
find
to
out.
get to me, or does he like her? He
I don't
knows
know.
that
We'll
Eddie
find
Mack is
out.
Davy Jones. He's posting Davy Jones everywhere.
We will find out when he comes on at the end of July.
All right. We're way over the Andrew Still time mark by over 2 hours. So he's probably smoking a cigarette out of each nostril right now, just infuriated.
He's in adult diapers too. He's just sitting. He couldn't take any more bathroom breaks.
Guys, please hit the subscribe button. There's 900 of you mongrels in that Facebook page, and I can't get a subscribe. Like, just hit subscribe. What's your problem? Seriously, email me. What is your problem? I want to know. We will be back next week. Chris got a new mic and a new camera, so he looks fabulous. I need to buy new shit, too. We're working on it. We will see everyone next week. Good night.
See you later.